Hey everyone, welcome back. Now, got a couple video projects on the go at the moment, but today's a little bit of something, a little bit of a surprising one. As didn't I knew there was a kit of this for a little while, but didn't think I was actually going to find one at all. It's this kit here. It's a night. It's the Revell Pro Finish version of a smart car. Now, this one I believe would have been a 2000 release. There was another version a couple years prior, which was a just Revell version in their blue box from that time. Now, this one here is quite unique one, as like you don't really think this would be something you'd find in a kit form, as there's basically nothing to it, as can't really have an engine built up and can't really do a huge amount with it unless you got really creative. Now, a little bit of the history with the smart car is that it started up as a kind of an experimental prototype in the late 80s with Mercedes, and then got the go ahead in the 90s, and then eventually hit production in 1998 and is pretty much in production now. And of course, the car itself has a little 3-cylinder gas or diesel, depending on what configuration you went for. And so let's start off by getting some of the stuff out of the box. So get some of the stuff put away. Probably gonna have to trim some of the tape off by the looks of it. Or unless I can, nope, never mind. Just can get slide out. Then a little bit on the back here. As you can probably see, it gives you a couple options of different body panels. So, of course, gives you here like the green, red, and yellow, giving you different colors to swap between, which is quite neat, as you don't really see that in many kits nowadays, or if anything at all. So, got an instruction sheet here, which pretty much basic sheet you'd find for most Revell kits of this era. Nothing hugely to go about it. Does give you a nice parts list on what's all included. Now, for the smart car itself, like being in production for so long, there has been a couple different variants. As between 2002 to 2005, there was a roadster version that stretched the car and gave it a roadster body, which this was something which I do have an example of, which is right here by Barago, which this was a buildable model kit that was featured many years ago. So pretty much a little bit shows the difference between the cars. Now, of course, this one itself being such a short production run, didn't really see a huge amount of sales over the years, and mainly due to the fact that these were mainly sold in Europe throughout that era, so finding one of these in North America is going to be pretty much next to impossible unless someone had imported one already. So, of course, the engine, of course, having the rear engine setup, rear wheel drive, decent little sports car, this one. But of course, the main kit itself pretty much just gives you pretty much what to offer as a small little family car, or not even a family car, as this is basically just a two-seater car with not a huge amount to it. So, got the body here, which looks quite nice. Got plastic film over top to protect the paint finish on the exoskeleton, I suppose. As crazy to think, like, for something this small, you think like in the event of a collision, this thing would just crumple up like a piece of paper. But impressively, with the steel structure, it is quite a sturdy vehicle. Because I'm sure there's like a couple crash videos online demonstrating on the survival rate on a car like this. Yeah, so pretty much looking on here, pretty much got the pretty much underside with the engine, transaxle, all that stuff. Of course, interior molded in this funky 90s blue, very similar found in the that I found in the Ford GT90 by AMT. So you just get these parts pulled apart, and by the looks of it, it's just a case of dislodge the panels from the tab, and everything should just be able to slide off by the feels of it. This one's being a little bit stubborn. Okay, there we go. So got the full cage here, front bumper, and then let's get these other two pieces off, which are nicely left intact. Now I'm sure, like, if you really wanted to, might go crazy, make something silly out of this, like say a dragster. Though of course we'd need quite a lot of extensive modifications. So yeah, so that's pretty much that. So that's the little bit of the swappable parts. By the looks of it, pretty much be a case of insert these back tabs in first. Get the tabs lined up. Okay, get these lined up and then slide everything back. And it should just snap into place, I'd imagine. There we go. Almost. There we go. Yeah, so parts fit quite nicely. Now, of course, like over time, probably want to be careful, otherwise the tabs will end up breaking, which is probably something to be expected. So, moving on a little bit got the parts bag here, which has got rest of the parts such as the interior and panels. So, now the good thing with some of these extra panels here is that you can go ahead and perhaps paint these up to be a different color. Like say you got the yellow, which would be like your standard smart car yellow. And then you have this more funky lime green. Of course, being in plastic, that comes off as a more neon color. Or even like say for the interior parts, if you don't really like the obscure blue that's being used, you could always just change that out and have like a more subtle interior color, like say a black or even a dark gray. Sure, that would look that'd be quite fine. Seats as well, kind of look like seats you'd find on like a 90s amusement park ride. Looks very funky by today's standard, but of course that probably was the trend back in the day. Got the wheels here, which are just standard steelies, or probably would end up being like aluminum rims. Of course, nothing too fancy on those. Got the 3 sets of door panels, which include the yellow, green, and red. Of course, rear bumper panels with the fender wells. Now, black plastic tree, which would be more realistic for more subtle stuff like the wing mirrors, windshield wipers, and seat backings, which all look to be in really nice shape. And of course, interior panel consisting of the door panels, of course, and steering wheel and steering column. Pretty subtle on that. And then let's hear going through the instructions just to make sure it didn't miss anything. Like, usually every now and then you'll have a sticker sheet mixed in between, which by the looks of it there is, but I'll have to see where I put it. Oh, yep, here we go. Pick it up through the back. I got a sticker sheet of smart car license plates, emblems, and tachometer with gauges, which is quite subtle, which realistically wouldn't expect a huge amount of detail out of something like this. And of course, finally got the windows, which to my surprise are nicely detailed up, as you got the outer trim, the belt molding, and rear taillights with the lenses and the cover housing, which is quite surprised to see, as usually with most kits that stuff you have to figure out yourself. Get this bag out of here. Of course, plastic tree for the headlights and front grille. So pretty much going to take a quick look through here. Yeah, so pretty much with this, get everything cleaned up, put to the side on what I'm going to do with it, and then do a little bit of look through and putting this all together. So I got quite a few of the panels here all set up, ready to go. Now, first of all, like for the back window, to get that on, you have to remove the roof panel, as it's already inserted, which, to my surprise, which is quite a clever move, have the windshield and back windows molded as one. Just paint the middle roof section in the body color. So so it makes it easier to work with. Of course, take the back window, just slides in to locate. Just inserts into two locating tabs at the top. Then you'll just use the bottom tabs to be kept into place. So let's see here, can do this. Got it sitting like there, and then front window goes in first, and then the back top window or the window panel will just clip back into place. Now, of course, something like this, you do want to be making sure you're not removing the roof all the time, as it's just two little tabs hold on to the back. So I'm sure over time those would end up snapping off, which I'd imagine would become a problem very quickly if you're trying to keep the roof piece intact and if you want to swap pieces over quite regularly. So, and of course, moving on, we got the door panel, which went for the red exterior panel, which is only like four simple pieces. As you have the interior panel, then you go ahead, take the correct window pieces, which is pretty much just open window with the back quarter window. Just inserts like so. Take your side mirror, which will just insert to the side. Doesn't need really much for modifications, as it just really fits into place like so. Of course, take your outer panel, which in this case is the green panel that I took off the parts tree. Clip everything into place, and you'll hear everything crunch together, which indicates everything's together. So that's looking quite nice. And of course, I took the front panel off, as something I discovered is that you will have to take that off, as in order to get the doors to fit in properly, you have to keep it off, as of course you have the hinge locator mounts. Of course, on both sides, insert the door like so, and then just close it shut. Look quite good. And then of course, once you get that all put together, you can then slide the front panel over, which in this case is going to be a red panel to match with the red door. Insert it like so, which just slides all the way back. Just make sure everything is clipped in together, which is looking quite nice. Now, actually realizing it now, probably should have put the lights back into place, which actually I'll skip the process to taking the panels off and get the lights dealt with right now. Okay, so got the panel off, and of course got on pretty much the only two pieces of chrome in this entire kit, which pretty much makes sense. Got the headlights, which probably should just be able to trim off. So here, got the pliers to the side. There we go. Got the headlight bracket all separate from the parts tray, and then of course you have the headlight lens, the headlight lenses just goes in, inserts over top, and by the looks of it just slides right into place. So get these fitting accordingly. Of course, having clear pieces on bright chrome does make it a little bit difficult to try mount everything in one going, but overall looks quite nice. Get the other side in as well. That in. See if the mount. See, get the bottom mount in. There we go. Press everything into place. Doesn't quite fit perfectly first time, but a little bit of persuasion should get you what you're looking for. Probably. So it's looking quite good. So of course, by the looks of it, this would just basically insert from the back or onto the front, which on the real car right here was just your small access panel for small stuff like for washer fluid and radiator fluid, which of course in the back half area there's not really much access room. And then of course now can insert the front panel over top of everything, which of course get the upper tabs located first. Make sure they're not getting caught on anything, as that's a good way to break something. And for something like this kit has only really seen 2 releases from my understanding, so finding replacement parts for a kit like this is pretty much going to be next to none, unless somehow someone has this kit but as a parts unit. So get this in, and we'll insert it. Okay, there we go. Got the front all put together now. A little bit, does need a little bit more persuasion here and there, but overall looks quite good for now. Yeah, that looks much better. And of course you go to the rear section, which you take your rear panel, pretty much just inserts into these tabs on the back. Nothing too crazy on here. So that's pretty much how it looks, with the body all taken care of. Well, or just about, as have to get the tail lights inserted as well. A little bit twisting around, clean these up. Let me just clean these up a little bit. Probably could go ahead, take a little, like a spot of black Sharpie marker, just touch these up a little bit. But overall, fits in quite nicely, blends in with rest of the model itself. Now, of course, nothing too fancy here, just put everything in, fits in like so. Yeah, probably go ahead, take Sharpie marker, clean that up a little bit. But overall, it's not too bad. Got the window here, which does open up a little bit. Nothing crazy, as you're not going to see much of the interior or the back trunk space area that much. So we got that. And then moving on to the interior, got not really a huge amount going on. Do have the dashboard here and extra gauges. So moving on, like we got the seats, which snap these off the parts tree. Of course, clean them up just a little bit to get rid of some of the excess flash, which I'm sure there's probably better ways to be taking parts off the parts tree, but here we are. So the seats are pretty much identical. Yeah, the seats are pretty much identical, so I don't think positioning really matters, though of course in real life you have mounting brackets which do play a factor when you end up putting something together, or especially like an interior of a vehicle. So get this one off the parts tray as well. Clean it up, of course, from the trim. There we go. And this will just pop in like so. Seat backing came a little bit loose on the seat, but nothing too major. And of course, it's a little some of the, let's see here, what parts are these? Yeah, we got the shift knob right here, which of course these cars, depending on the region of which you're buying these cars from, came with primarily manual transmission, or I believe in some areas you could get an automatic, though can't imagine though there's many left anymore in these days, as like with the amount of work it is to take the engine or transmission out, you do end up having it considered a mechanically totaled vehicle. So so they're a cheap car to run, but of course maintenance gets very expensive being a vehicle made by Mercedes, and of course German doesn't really keep everything affordable in terms of long-term in long-term run. So okay, got the dash pad, which of course is going to be using one of the stickers, which tachometer, or is the speedometer right here. I'll just go put this off. Of course, a little bit, quite a small sticker here, so try a little bit of different technique to get this put into place. Well, it's pretty good for a first try. A little bit out of alignment, but once everything's all put together, it's not going to be hugely noticeable. And get these two pieces out of here, as these look like they're secondary gauges, like for a tachometer, or possibly temperature gauges for engine or transmission, something like that. Now, of course, like there was a couple of years ago now, in the 2010s, there was the redesign for the car. I believe would have been for the 2013 model year, and with that, it ended up there was a version that stretched the car out to accommodate a second row of seats, which the car ended up becoming prominently known as the Smart 4.4, as opposed to the basic model being the Smart 4.2, representing the two-seater capacity. Now, can't imagine probably would have been a few people who bought it. Can't imagine, though, it was exactly a popular seller. So, got the gauges here. Well, actually, probably should. Let's hear where to put. Yeah, I got the steering column right here with steering wheel in place. Probably get this off the tree as well. So yeah, definitely something unusual that you don't really see all that often, and can't imagine there's really much of a demand to make these little family cars into model kit counterparts. So, though of course, like, it is unique to see something like this happen every now and then. Okay, so by the looks of it, can't exactly get away with putting the dash on top of everything. Yeah, the dashboard on top, so that'll have to come off. So pretty much as the steering column just hooks into place over here, then put it over top. See if this got it clipped in. Of course, quite conveniently, you have a little, you wouldn't really have much for center console space or even a glove box, so it does make sense why you have a little shelf unit up on the front. Let's see here, get this lined up, which has, by the looks of it, 2 locating mounts. The one on the bottom, which tried to get the shift lever in, which clearly didn't go. Then got the upper portion here. So get this lined up. Yep, there we go. Got that. Get this in. Let's here get a little bit more. Give it a little bit of persuasion. There we go. Of course, knocked one of the gauges off, so that'll just insert again. So yeah, looking pretty good. Which by the looks of it, that's pretty much everything for the interior. So pretty much be a case just slide everything, open up the doors to allow more clearance. Slide everything in. And it should just pop into place, I'd imagine. Unless there's something else that's getting in the way, or something was put on way too soon. But no, no, by the looks of it, that's everything on that. Yeah, so that's pretty much it all together. Or pretty much getting there. And got the front grille itself, which I'd imagine, like, for the chrome being more on the higher end models, more the entry level would be either like a black plastic or nothing. Yeah, black plastic or just plated chrome. So nothing too fancy, of course. Okay, there we go. That's inserted, and then it'll just set in like so. And we got, see here, we got the, of course, got to get the windshield wipers installed, which are quite funky looking, as they have the arch, or the arm that's arched over quite heavily. So let's see how these would go in and be. So let's see here. This, yeah. So let's here get the other one in, which looks like this would be the driver's side. See if we can get this into place. It's a little bit. Oh no, there we go. There we go. Yeah, so the so pretty much that it's pretty much a hole that goes straight down. So needs a little bit of persuasion, but overall does have a nice smooth fit. There we go. And of course the wipers go intermit. Of course wipers swipe away from each other as opposed of going with each other. So yeah, that's looking quite. So yeah, everything's looking quite good with this. And then looks like it's pretty much just getting the wheels and tires on. So let's get these off. Get these out of the way. Got the axles here, which actually, by the looks of it, I don't think I have tires here. So go on and take a quick look, which actually probably should give a quick look, see where I put them, and finish up with this. Okay, so the tires were still taped onto the inner cardboard, which pretty much pretty much on the little rubber tree. Of course, these pretty much just pry off. Now, I'm sure if you really want to clean them up a little bit, as you will have the nub residue left on the parts tree, of course. Let's just trim these off a little bit. Yeah, trim the nubs down. Now, of course, like these tires here are quite a tiny tire setup. As for reference, these are dirt track tires off one of the MPC Super Stocker series kits. And then, of course, you look the size difference. And then, of course, like for 1/24 scale, being the much larger scale, does go to show how tiny proportions this car overall is. So, yeah, of course, got the rims themselves, Nothing too fancy about them, as of course for a car like this doesn't really need to have anything fancy, as it's just pretty much one of those fine examples of a cheap vehicle to get you from A to B, and then of course the odd road trip here and there. So by the looks of it, just yeah, so all just inserts like so. Yeah, so that's looking quite good. Try that with another. Get the other rims out. So insert the wheel axle in first. There we go. And of course, the advantage with this can just slide the tire off through the back. Get that inserted, as of course there's certain other kits that you have to go through. You have to do it in a precise order, otherwise everything won't fit all the way. So let's see here. Get this cleaned up a little bit. There we go. Now let's see. Put this through the front end. Looks doesn't not entirely sure if that's how it's supposed to be. Looks a little bit like sits too far out. Of course, like, let's move this one to the back. Okay, yeah, that looks a bit more proportionate. So actually give a check. Actually give a look here. It doesn't seem to be like there's really any different parts. Okay, actually there is. Because we got, okay, didn't really see this over until now, as there are two different sets of rims, a part number 33 and 35, which by the looks of it, the taller one, the taller nub would be used, of course, for the back tire, and the narrower nub being used for the front tire. So pretty much be a case now try to get these off, as of course once you get them inserted, good luck trying to get everything apart again. Okay, there we go. So actually let's do, while we're here, take a quick look. Okay, that's somewhat of a it's somewhat noticeable, as of course this one here, the much narrower one, be used for the front tire, and the wider hub being used for the back tire. So let's get that into place. Now I'm curious to see which one for this tire. Okay, it looks like it's the narrower hub. So let's get this into place. Put this in. Then we got put the back tire in. Actually, let's try it the other way. Okay, yeah, that looks more proportionate. Yeah, that's looking much better, how the tires are tucked in and not protruding out of the side of the bodywork, as that I wouldn't imagine that would have been something on the vehicle per se, but who knows? As okay, actually looking also too, there might be two different axles. I'm taking a look here. Feels like the axles should be the same size, but might be two different ones. Actually, let's give it a check here. Okay, yeah, there is two different axle sizes. So one, of course, probably for the back, and then of course for the front. Which actually, the nice thing about going through this kit is getting to find some of the little things that you wouldn't really notice first time building, or especially like if you're not really focusing on everything all that much. So, no, that's the smaller hub. One looks like inserts through here. Then we take the other axles, or the other axle, I should say. Get the tire inserted, slide it on through, sneak it in through the back as well. Okay, there we go. Antenna's a little bit on the fragile side, but more how the trim or how the sprue tree is designed. Yeah, so that's pretty much the whole kit all put together. It's a neat little rolls, probably a little bit tighter on the axles, but overall rolls around quite nicely. So get this, snap it all together. Yeah, so overall nice little kit. Now this is probably like the second smallest kit that I've ever built, as I would still like to say that my 1904 Duroc sports car is still one of the smallest cars that I've got, which was something I built many years ago. So yeah, that was pretty much a look at the Revell Smart 4.2, or prominently known as the Smart car. Yeah, so nice little kit to work with. Gives you nice little options to work with. So nice little, pretty much, of course, clean these up a little bit, paint them however you want. And actually seen it here with the red body panels. What I'm thinking, like, maybe one of these days, take it apart, paint the exo cage in a, or at least the top half in a bright yellow, and keep the bottom half along the belt line. Keep that all red, so you essentially have yourself a full-size Little Tikes Cozy Coupe, which is probably one of the best paint jobs you can do on a little car like this. So yeah, so there's that. Pretty much a quick look, or pretty much a subtle look at a unusual little kit from the Revell Pro Finish line. So yeah, it's a neat little car. Nothing really crazy about it, but of course, there's nothing really exciting about it in the first place, though. Of course, from the fact that being one of the smallest production cars in existence. So yeah, it's quite a nice looking piece. Definitely a little bit of an odd one to have in the collection, as you usually have lots of Japanese sports cars or 60s, 70s muscle cars. So yeah, so had a good time building this, and of course, if anyone watching this ends up finding one, definitely a unique one to add to the collection. I'm sure you could figure out ways how to customize this a little bit more. So yeah, that'll pretty much be it for this video, and yeah, stay tuned, as I do have a couple more videos planned up for the rest of the month. So yeah, that'll pretty much be it for this video, though. So until next time, see ya.